So today I'm going to go over the Chapter 2 study guide with you for the Chapter 2 test. It's in your math book on page 131 and it goes all the way to page 136. So you want to open your math book and I want you to try it on your own first and then just skip the problems that you're having trouble with and then come back to the video and watch the entire video, see if you did the things that you did on your own correctly, and if you didn't understand how to do one, hopefully I'll be able to explain it here as I go through this test. All right, so the first one says, write the values in order from least to greatest. So first we need to be able to compare the same things. So I'm going to put them all in decimals because we know how to compare decimals. And I know that 3/4 is the same as 0.75. And that 5/8 I could stick my bottom out and divide. And we've done this a few times and we have one over this dividing. You're going to end up getting 625 thousandths there. So now we can look at all of these numbers and we can put them in order. So I see here, I look at the largest place value spot first. I have a 4, a 7, a 6, and a 5. So I'm going to start with my 4, then the 5 in the tens place. Now the 6, so we're going to write that as 5/8. And then the 7, which would be 3/4. The next one says, for numbers 2a through 2d, compare, choose less than, greater than, or equal to. So up here, we said that 0.75 is the same as 3/4, so those are equal. We could put this fraction into tenths by multiplying the top and bottom by 2. So I'd get 1 6/10, and this is 1 9/10. So 1 6/10 is less than 1 9/10. This one also would be easy to multiply the top and bottom by 2, and we could put that into a decimal of 8/10, 8 in the tenths place, which is going to be larger than a 3 in the tenths place. So that is greater than. And then finally, this one, we could again make that into tenths, and we get 7 4/10, which is equal to 7 4/10. So I'm going to just slide this over here in case you need a hint, or if you want to pause this right here and write this down. This is something you need to know. It says how to turn a fraction to a decimal. How to turn a fraction to a decimal. Do you know it? So sometimes you just know it. It's a benchmark fraction you know. Can you change it to tenths or hundredths? That's what we do when we multiply the top and bottom by the same thing. So we get 100 or a tenth in the bottom of your denominator, and then you can just rewrite it. If not, if you can't do those two things, then you stick your bottom number, the denominator, on the outside of a division and just divide it out like this one up here. Okay, so those are the steps. First, do you know it? Can you change it to tenths or hundredths? And then divide if you can't. All right, so the next one says, the table lists the heights of 4 trees. So we're going to go ahead and turn all of these into decimals so we can compare them because it's going to want to know the shortest, the tallest, and are they the same height. So we're going to change these all to decimals. The 3/4 is an easy one. It's a benchmark fraction that you should know is 0.75. This one also 0.75. And then this one I'll have to stick my bottom out and divide into 3. Remember, I shoot my decimal straight up. 2 fits in there. Whoops, what did I do wrong here? Oh no, I didn't stick my bottom on the outside. So here we go. All right, so it doesn't fit into 2. It does fit into 20. 3 times 6 is 18. And I'm going to keep getting 20 as I work through this. So it's going to be 0.6666 going on and on and on. So we're just going to put a 6 with a line over it. All right. Let's see how it would keep repeating. I'd get this done. I'd put another 18. I'd get another 2. So I'd keep getting 20 over and over. All right. So is the oak tree is the shortest. So we look here. Yep, this one has 14 as its whole number. It's true, it is the shortest. The birch tree is the tallest. Which one is the tallest here? So the birch is 72 hundredths, this one's 75 hundredths, and they both have 15 as their whole number, so that is false. 2 of the trees are the same height. No, that's false. None of them are the exact same because these have different whole numbers. The sycamore tree is taller than the maple tree. So sycamore, maple, no, this would be like 15.66, and this is 7,500. So 7,500 is greater than 6,600. So that is false. Okay, let's turn the page over. For number 4A through 4D, choose yes or no to indicate whether the statement is correct. Point A represents 1. No, this is 1 whole. 1 whole is up here, and this is point A, so that is a no. Point B represents 3/10, and that would be a yes because 3/10 becomes between 2/10 and 4/10, so that is a yes. C represents 6.5, no. Whole number 6 would be way up there, that is false. D represents 4/5, and 4/5 is the same as 8/10, and yes it does, so that is a yes. Select the values that are equivalent to 1/25. Mark all that apply. This is 1/25, that is equivalent. This is just the number 25, that is not 1/25. Now this one, it could be, so let me take 1/25 and I'm going to get 100 on the bottom, right? I want to multiply it by 4 to get 100 on the bottom, so I multiply the top by 4. So I get 4 100ths, which would be a 4 in the hundredths place, so this one would be yes. This is not 25 hundredths, this is 25 thousandths. That 5 ends in the thousandths place, so that one is a no. All right, it says the table shows Lily's homework assignment. Lily's teacher instructed the class to simplify each expression by dividing the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor. Complete the table by simplifying each expression and then find the product. So this is where we're going to simplify, and then we're going to rewrite it. This will be 1/5 times 1/2. The product is 1/10. Here we're going to simplify the 4 and the 8, dividing it by 4, and the 5 and the 5, dividing it by 5. So I get 1/1 times 1/2 just gives me 1/2. This one cannot be simplified. I don't see anything that simplifies there, so we're just going to leave this spot blank, multiply the top, multiply the bottom. 7 times 8 is 56, so 15/56. Here we can divide by 3, and here we can divide by 4. So we get 1/3 times 1/4 equals 1/12. Okay, on to the next page. Number 7, 2/5 of the fish in Gary's fish tank are guppies. 1/4 of the guppies are red. What fraction of the fish in Gary's tank are red guppies? What fraction of the fish in Gary's tank are not red guppies? Show your work. So it says 2/5 of the fish, and it says 1/4 of them are guppies. So 2/5 times 1/4. And first we're going to look to see if we can simplify. And then we multiply across the top and the bottom, and so 1/10 are red. So we want 1/4 of the guppies are red. All right, then it says how many are not red. We have to take the whole fish tank and subtract 1/10. Remember, when you subtract, you want to have a common denominator. So we can turn that 1 into 10/10 minus 1/10 will give us 9/10 of the guppies are not red. 1/3 of the students at Findlay High School play sports. 2/5 of the students who play sports are girls. What fraction of all the students are girls who play sports? Use numbers and words to explain your answer. So I'm going to do 1/3 of the 2/5. So remember, of means to multiply. 1/3 of 2/5 of the students. There's no simplifying that can happen here. So I get 2/15 are girls who play sports. All right, draw a model to find the quotient. So we have 3/4 here. Let's say this was our whole. because that would be 4 quarters. That would be 1 whole. And we're going to divide these 3 quarters. Well, this is 1 quarter, another quarter, and another quarter. We're going to divide it by 2. So if we do that, we have to know that half of a quarter is an eighth, right? Because we'll have 1/8, another eighth, and then another eighth. So in each half, it's going to be 3 of these eighths that will fit into that half. So the answer is going to be 3/8. And you could go ahead and you could check that by dividing fractions as easy as pi, flip the second, simplify, and multiply. Oops, I didn't flip it. So hold on, let's do that again. So we could do 3/4 times, flipped over, there we go, 3/8. All right, so now we have 3/4, which is right here, and we're dividing it into groups of 3/8. So let's see, this would be 1/8, 1, there's another eighth, and another eighth. So we need to know right here, if we divide it into 3/8 and then another 3/8, it's going to be in 2 groups. So the way you would check that to make sure you're correct, flip the second and simplify, then multiply. We get 2/1, which is the same as 2. How are your models alike and how are they different? In this one, so they're both dealing, this is a fact family here. And so this one, we're dividing into the 2, and then you're getting the 3/8. And this one, we're dividing into 3/8, and we're getting the groups of 2. So both models, I'm going to put this up here because I don't have time to write it all down within that 15 minutes. But you guys could pause it and write it. It says, both models show 3/4, but one model uses fraction strips and one uses a number line. The fraction strip model shows how much is in each group if 3/4 is shared among 2 groups. The number line model shows how many groups of 3/8 are in 3/4. Okay, the next, it says explain how to use a model to find this quotient. Here, we're going to go, let's use a number line, 0, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to take 2.5, this is at 2.5, and divide it into 2 groups. So let's put some lines in here to make quarters. There we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 quarters. I'm going to put 5 of them per group so we can divide them evenly into 2 groups. So my answer would be 1 1/4. I'm going to show you the answer for that. A way to explain it, I want you to focus on this. A way to explain it would be to say, I drew 2.5 in a number line, then I divided that into 2 parts. I saw that the halfway point was between the 1 and the 1.5. It was at 1 1/4. That would be a way to describe that model. All right, moving on to number 11. So this one, we're just dividing fractions as easy as pi, flip the second, and multiply. And this one cannot be simplified, so we just get 35 over 24. 24 fits in there once, so you got to take a group of 24 out, which will give me 11/24. All right, this one, we have mixed numbers. Remember, when you are dividing with mixed numbers, you want to make those into improper fractions by doing the wheel. So we'll get the denominator staying the same, and then 21. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Dividing fractions as easy as pi, flip the second, and multiply. And we have a little simplifying we can do there. 21 over 12. 12 will fit in there once. Let's take that group of 12 out, and that will give me 9/12, which can be simplified. I could have probably simplified by dividing this one by 3, but I'm going to divide it by 3 here. So 1 3/4. All right, I think I'm going to have to make another video because this one is taking so long. Let me pause this.